You're listening to the Mark Bradford Alchemy for Life podcast.
Motivation, but like the opposite? Well, hey there. Welcome back. Aren't you motivated to... Oh my God, that sounds annoying, doesn't it? I don't do the cheerleading stuff, sorry. I do the information and connection and human interaction stuff. But we talk about motivation a lot, don't we? I mean, especially in the space that coaches and speakers speak in, they talk about motivation all the time. You probably have things and music and podcasts and maybe even this one that you listen to for motivation, right? I mean, motivation kind of breaks down into two things, doesn't it? Oh, by the way, if you're like new to listening to this, this is the way we do things. We jump right into it. I don't have like half a minute of bumper music. I don't say, hey there, let me define what motivation is, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, I get all this, like get to the good stuff. We get right to the good stuff. So anyway, carrying on, moving on. Motivation kind of breaks down into a couple pieces, doesn't it? I mean, one of the motivations is just getting all hyped up and getting all excited, right? I mean, it's the reason we listen to inspirational and exciting and fast-paced music while we're trying to work out. Right? I certainly do that. I'm kind of weird because I'll take little blips and pieces of things that are motivational, like even like a video game theme or something like that. I mean, that does it for me too. I literally have a recent reel that I created, and the little blip of music was playing like in my pocket while I was running on the treadmill, which is kind of weird because, you know, Instagram will close, so you have to like keep it open and playing. But whatever. At least only I knew that I was doing that in my headphones, and now you know too. So that's the hypey motivation thing. Just like when you see a movie and you get all excited and after it, you're like, you know what? I've decided I'm making a different life decision now because of Captain America or whatever, right? And then the other piece of motivation, or another facet or aspect of it, is the thing you're being motivated to go towards, right? I mean, you if you're going to lose weight, you don't say, you know, I could probably stand to lose a few pounds. Okay. You never do that. You think, if I lost weight, people would say nice things to me. Like, look, be honest. I mean, sometimes you literally have to force yourself to go, yeah, but what's in it for me? Well, it's better health and this and this. Yeah, but I can't put my finger on better health. Oh, really? Can you put your finger on living long enough to see your grandkids? Can you put your finger on people patting you on the back and attractive people looking at you more and stuff like that? It's like those carrots that we kind of place in front of us is part of motivation. It's part of being human. And it's okay to be in touch with those. It's okay to admit that that's kind of why you did a thing, right? I mean, even if it's, I want people to like me more. There are people that would say that's shallow, right? Ugh. You shouldn't do things for other people. You know, screw them if they don't like you. Well, really? I mean, if you're an unlikable person or you're doing things that are just kind of unlikable, well, then, yeah, you might have to shift more into the space of being a more likable person. I'm sorry. That's just the way life is. You want to surround yourself with likable people. So enough said about being likable. So it's that latter one I wanted to talk about. You know, the former, the whole motivational hype thing we all get. But it's the latter goal thing. And there's a reverse of that too, right? Because, and here's a little tidbit of wisdom for you, which you'll think about for a while and you'll keep trying to challenge. We only do things for two reasons. We avoid pain and we seek pleasure. And you're going to say, oh my God, I'm not a pleasure seeker. That's not at all. If it provides pleasure, if even doing the right thing provides pleasure to you in a way that you know it feels good, it feels right? I mean, even sacrifices. So I'm not going to go on that. You just think about that. Feel free to challenge it and write me some big long email if you disagree, but you're not going to disagree. It's just the way it works. It's a kind of a binary thing we live in. So the reason I'm mentioning binary is flip that around. Instead of seeking pleasure, it's avoiding pain, right? One of the big motivating goals can be moving away from something. If you're working for the man, nothing's more motivating than to go, I don't want to work for the man anymore. Their methodology, their methods of making me do stuff, they're just so sluggish. They just, oh my God, I can't breathe. Oh my God, I need to do my own thing. It can be really motivating, can't it? I can tell you that everything that makes working in corporate America negative, disappointing, and so forth, there's huge aspects to it that are great. There's huge things that are pluses, stability, and lots of room for growth and all this other stuff and so forth, benefits, hello. But all the negative aspects of working for corporate America can easily motivate you to say, I don't want to work for corporate America. Being out in the cold as a solopreneur can be terrifying, can be, very variable. You've got to think on your feet constantly and so forth, but you can also move on a dime. You can also make a quick turn. But you find motivation in not wanting to do something. Interesting concept, isn't it? I mean, it's not a new concept. I mean, we're all aware of that, but we don't say, why did you do this? Well, because I didn't want to do that. I mean, you don't hear that often, but it's pretty common. And sometimes it's the most likely reason you did a thing because you didn't want to have another thing. Like, I didn't want to be alone, so I put a lot more effort into dating. I didn't want to feel bad every day, so that's why I forced myself to work out or to run or to do this other thing. I didn't want to be a recluse, so I forced myself to be part of this group or that group or so forth. Do you see how that works? It's kind of like if you don't make decisions in your life, someone's going to make them for you kind of concept. And that can be motivating too. So what I'm saying here, simply as a takeaway, is that there are things in your life that will motivate you negatively, or they'll motivate you to move away from them. And I think you need to take a breath and stop and go, are there things in my life, first of all, that I moved away from, which is why I am where I am right now? And then, are there things in my life that I really don't want to have, that I really don't like? My Quickie Mart job, or or a certain kind of relationship that I continue to have, or what have you, right? And give it some thought, give it some emotional investment, and think, okay, I don't want to do this. Wow, this has been on my shoulders for a while. This is why I've been crabby. I don't want to do this. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I want it to end. I want to go away from this. And then realize that that's a wonderful motivation for going and starting a business, trying to have more healthier relationships, trying to have a healthier body, making healthier choices, not giving in to your base needs of pleasure and alcohol and other things. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, well, it's the weekend, so now I drink and I don't remember Saturday and Sunday. There's a reason you're doing that if you're doing that, because you're forgetting this conveyor belt job you might be going back to. And I don't mean to pick on your employer. I don't mean to pick on jobs in general. There's a lot of aspects of life that are like that. I'm just saying that's a big one, right? So do give that some thought. That's your homework, plus the little binary thing I mentioned. And I have an exciting announcement coming up. I thought about maybe changing the bumper, the part at the end for this podcast to sort of tell you about it. But I think we may have a bonus podcast coming up right after this one, which will actually enlighten you to that. So stay tuned, and thank you. Hey there, thanks for listening. I always enjoy your feedback. The prequel to The Sword and the Sunflower duet, called Upside Down, is now available. The Sword and the Sunflower is available as Kindle, paperback, and audiobook, with the other two, Amira and Upside Down, being available as Kindle and paperback. Well, actually, all three books are now available in hardcover.